doing? Well, today we're starting a big project. We just had our roof replaced. It was a really big expense, but our next big expense is to do all of the electricals again. So I have to basically install, I think it's around 230 or 240 wall sockets. The 230 includes 2 of them maybe stuck together, multiple ones, but that's how they add them up here. So it's a really big project. I have to cut into stone walls. I have to run wires through the floors, through the attic, and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be a multi-phase project, if that makes sense. So the first thing I have to do, because we just had the roof replaced and we have a solar panel guy coming shortly, we're going to be having to run really big gauge wires. So it'll be 16 millimeter 5-core wires from this panel out to our pool room, where we're going to put a battery and where all the solar panels are going to go from the roof and connect up in there. I'm also going to be doing the same thickness of wire to 3 more boxes, I think it is, or is it 4? No, 3 more boxes, like as in breaker boards. Satellite boards, I guess you call them. There's going to be one in the pool room. There's going to be one in where our water heater is going to go on the top floor, and there's going to be one in our laundry room, which is in the middle floor. So the idea is, instead of running all the cables all around this house, which is a huge distance, you run one big one to each other board, and then you use those cables to spread out from there. So we're doing 3 of those, and then we'll be doing the battery back and forth. We're also going to preemptively put in a cable for a car charger. So if we ever get a solar car, a battery car, electric car, we'll have that ready to go. We're not going to hook it up at this end or the other end, but it's just there to go. Since I will be taking the floors apart and removing the tiles, running them under the floors, and then putting the tiles back down, depending how things go. Anyway, so the first step of this is to get ready for the solar panel guy. And then my next job after that will be to get the water heater installed, which requires me strengthen up the floor and then rerouting all the water. And then also, because the water heater has a VMC in it, which is like an air exchange unit, it sucks all the bad air from the bathrooms and the kitchen, puts it through an exchanger, and the water heater uses that heat, I guess, from what you ever call it, the moist air, and then expels the stuff it doesn't want to use out of the top of the roof. So that's the short-term project that I'm doing, but the first step is to do this. So let's talk about what we have here. So in France, you can have monophase, you can have triphase. We've already preemptively got triphase in there, which if you look at the bottom here, you'll see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, basically places you can put in the big wires. And the big wires come from outside the house through into this. I don't actually even know what this thing is. I think it must be some sort of massive fuse thing. I don't know. This is our, I can't open these because there's little tags on them that stop you from looking at them. And I don't really care. It's not my deal anyways to deal with it. So basically from here on is what I can touch. I can touch from these guys into there, or electrician can. Any of this, you're not allowed to touch. This is our Linky meter, which is basically, it talks back and forth with the electric company and sends all our stats. It automatically updates to do off-peak times. So if they say, oh, your times are this, it'll record going back. If I get solar panels, what I'm feeding into the back end of the grid. That's something they provide from basically the electric company all the way down to here. This is the main switch for the whole house, which is what I'll be flipping off shortly. You basically can look at how much available amperage you have. Because we have triphase, we have a kind of up to 60 amps we can use, and that's the biggest you can get in a house. This is 60 amps and it's 230 volts. You have to kind of think, and it's triphase, so there's a lot more power than just 60 amps like compared to North America. It's quite a big, you know, I don't want to be touching these wires live, they hurt. So it's just not enough to kill you, put it that way. So what I'll be doing temporarily is I'll be putting this wide conduit up here, and then you mount one of these guys, which is your board, to this, and then above that I'm going to be putting a communication board in there. So that's sort of the requirements of what you need to do. I'll get into the details of that, but basically if you look at what we have here at the fuse panel at the top, this fuse isn't connected, this fuse isn't connected, so we're basically down to, and these two here are simply for the water heater. This one takes a signal from the power company, and it tells the water heater, our current water heater, when to turn on and off, if that makes sense. So that fuse, basically this thing gets the signal, tells this board to go to a low power, and basically it stops it from using too much electricity. This one here was attached wrong. But yeah, it's so we have it does just basically the living room water or the living room radiators, which are electric radiators. I don't know why we've got that is on one, and then the entire, and I mean all the lights, the pool, every plug in the house, everything goes through this one breaker, which is just insane to me. That's so wrong. And they've even, I don't know, they even have the wrong colors. Red isn't even used anymore in France. It's a bigger gauge wire at least, but we've had boxes, little connection points throughout the house that were surface mounted, and those wires have melted in it. So it's such a dangerous setup right now, which is why it's kind of going right to the top of the list. That and for other reasons, because we need the power to be in good shape so we can put in the heat pumps and AC and that sort of stuff. So all I'm going to be doing for now is focusing on taking all of this off, getting all the pins up to there, putting in that conduit, putting in the board here that will hold circuit breakers, somehow transferring the circuit breakers that are working temporarily into this one, and then running that really big gauge wire, which if you look, this is what a bit of it looks like with, it's quite rigid. So you have 5 of these together. I'll be using, so these 5 together have the ground in it. It has 3 other phases in it. So, and a neutral. So basically that will be running out to the pool room. And that's my priority right now, is just to temporarily hook this up so that the solar panel guy can come. Anyways. So yeah, I've got all the bits and pieces, hopefully. So I'm going to be shutting the power off. And then, of course, it's the hottest day of the year. One of them, it's like 38 Celsius today, which I think is probably getting close to 95 or something like that, or 100 Fahrenheit. But I've got to shut it off. I've got to go because we're kind of on a schedule. So, yeah. Hopefully all the fridge food doesn't melt and stuff like that. But we'll be off for at least a couple hours while I take all this out and hopefully can put it back in successfully. So, anyways, wish me luck. Let's get going, and hopefully I don't electrocute myself, and hopefully I don't cause anything bad to happen. It should be fine. Oh, don't do this on your own. I've been basically talking to an electrician the whole time. It's going to be very dangerous. You don't want to just start poking around with your stuff. He's told me what to do. We've gone through a blueprint for the whole house. He's like, yeah, that's great. So he's going to come back in, other than this little section at the very end, and before I hook up all the new cables for all the the fridge and the stove and the AC units, he's going to come back and look and make sure I've done everything correctly before we flick anything on. But this little move, which is really just 3 breakers, as long as I don't change anything too much, it'll be fine. So anyways, let's get to the work.